Hello, you're watching the daily roundup by People's Dispatch, where we bring you some of the top stories from around the world. Let's take a look at the headlines. Iran and Saudi Arabia reach agreement to re establish diplomatic relations. Report claims Iran supplying ammunition to Russia to fuel Ukraine war. BBC sacks Gary Lineker over criticism of UK government bill. On March 10, Friday, Iran and Saudi Arabia agreed to re establish diplomatic relations. The agreement between the two regional rivals was reached following talks brokered by Beijing. The countries have also decided to reopen their embassies within 2 months. In 2016, Saudi Arabia had cut its ties with Iran after protesters attacked the Saudi embassy in Tehran following Riyadh's execution of the Shia leader Nimr al Nimr. Friday's agreement, signed by Iran's top security official Ali Shamkhani and Saudi Arabian National Security Advisor Musaid bin Mohammed Al Aban, agreed to reactivate a 2001 security cooperation accord as well as another earlier pact on trade, economy, and investment. China's top diplomat Wang Yi described the deal as a victory for dialogue and peace, adding that Beijing could continue to play a constructive role in addressing tough global issues. Long at odds, Iran and Saudi Arabia, respectively, the two leading Shiite and Sunni Muslim powers in the West Asia or so called Middle East, have backed opposite sides in proxy wars from Yemen to Syria and elsewhere. The latest agreement holds significance for two reasons. It is the coming together of two regional poles of power and for the role played by China. To improve bilateral relations and ease regional tensions, Iraq hosted 4 rounds of direct talks between Iran and Saudi Arabia in 2021 and the fifth round in April last year. Iran has supplied large quantities of bullets, rockets, and mortar shells to Russia for use in Ukraine, a report by Sky News has claimed on Wednesday, March 8, citing a security source. The deliveries were reportedly made by two Russian flagged cargo ships that traveled from Iran to the Russian port of Astrakhan on the Caspian Sea earlier this year. Tehran has emerged as one of Moscow's major international backers in the Ukraine war, appearing to supply crucial military equipment for the Russian armed forces that have suffered repeated military defeats in the year-long conflict. The Iranian cargo, which Sky News said was transferred in January, likely included about 100 million bullets, 300,000 shells, and 10,000 flak jackets and helmets. Iran sent two cargo ships carrying approximately 200 new shipping containers that contained ammunition for the Russian fighting in Ukraine, Sky News quoted their security source as saying. The media outlet did not identify which country the security source was from. Western and Ukrainian officials last year accused Iran of supplying large quantities of drones to Russia, which were used by Moscow to attack a Ukrainian energy infrastructure. Iran has not only used boats but also the state owned airline to move military equipment to Russia, according to Western media reports. Russian officials have previously denied purchasing Iranian military equipment. The BBC, one of the world's largest and most well known media networks, is in all sorts of trouble this weekend after a decision to suspend former England football player Gary Lineker, who is today one of the most popular faces in sports broadcasting in the UK. Lineker was suspended for his social media comments, particularly on Twitter, criticizing the Conservative Rishi Sunak government's new bill targeting asylum seekers coming into the UK. Lineker likened the language used by Home Secretary Sue All Braverman in a video released on the Home Office's social media channels to that used by the Nazi Party in 1930s Germany. In the video, that Braverman calls the attempts of asylum seekers to enter the UK as illegal and unnecessary attempts to game the system. She ends her attack on these asylum seekers, saying, "Enough is enough, we must stop the boats." The BBC said it was asking Lineker, who has close to 9 million followers on Twitter, to step back from his role as the studio anchor on Match of the Day, a weekend football show that has been part of BBC programming since 1964 because his stand on Twitter violates the BBC standards of impartiality. In a rare and uplifting display of solidarity, a host of other on-air talent refused to join programming over the weekend in solidarity with Lineker. This includes former England internationals Ian Wright and Alan Shearer. By Saturday, this mini revolt involved not only his co-hosts but also potential replacements, commentators, and even players and coaches. From the English Premier League, the 12 Premier League teams playing this weekend will not receive interview requests from the BBC in a move perhaps intended to save the broadcaster the ignominy of having these requests at the time of recording. The network was unable to broadcast a series of sports program on multiple platforms. Lineker has been a part of the match of the day since 1999 and is currently on contract till 2025. He is a former England national soccer team captain and top scorer of the 1986 World Cup, headlined by Diego Maradona. After retiring, Lineker built himself into one of the country's best known sports presenters, but has also not shied away from political debates on social media. He was recently a vocal supporter of the UK remaining part of the European Union. And that's all we have for today. For more such stories, please keep watching peoplesdispatch.org and also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.